My dear community, welcome to my channel. My name is Wei-Jen, and I help people to attract their desirable lifestyle and love by expanding their awareness, self-love, and energy vibration. Today, the subject that I want to talk about is mastering your emotion, how to harness our awareness for a positive life. The reason I want to talk about this subject is because I had this experience of mastering my negative emotion, and I got some insights and wisdom and inspiration, and I thought about this experience as I just had those moments come and go, and I thought this will be a great idea and opportunity to share with you guys my experience, strength, and hope. And hopefully you will find some insights and inspiration and then use it in your life. So this morning when I woke up, I noticed myself that I woke up with a sense of resentment, resistance, and maybe even a little bit hatred. And for sure, there was an anger inside my body. My first instinct was, I gotta get rid of all these negative emotion. That is my default place that I would usually go, is that I need to get rid of all these negative emotion because I have to, keep myself up, and I have to, compress all those negative emotion. If it's not that kind of thought came to my mind, sometimes it's the opposite, which is another place that I usually will go, which is I don't feel anything. Nothing happened. Oh, it's just a moment. It will go away. So, in other words, I don't pay enough attention and care to really acknowledge my negative emotion are there. And I would just dismiss my negative emotion. You see what I'm saying? And either way, at some point, when my container cannot carry all these negative emotion, and then, sometime I would just exposed. And that could look like, I acted out, or the decision or the action that I took, or the thought and the feelings that I am experiencing could go very extreme as well. And especially for someone, for someone who is codependent, if I didn't have this awareness, it could be very challenging for me that I can go very extreme either one way or the other. But luckily, I am very grateful that I am a recovered codependent, and I have been on my spiritual awakening journey and the personal transformation journey for, at least about 6 years. So I am glad that today I have this awareness to notice how was I feeling this morning when I just woke up. And also I am grateful that I was able to notice that there are some default places that I usually tend to want to go if I am not aware enough. One is either compress that, the other is, okay, I have to get rid of those negative emotion. But today I did a different choices. None of that I did. Guess what? I paid attention. I acknowledge those negative emotions are within me, are inside my body, right? Even though I had a moment where my negative thought is telling me, my negative voice is telling me that, yeah, you have all these negative, emotions, your day is gonna be suck. You will not do anything well today because you started with all these negative emotions. And that is how your day is going to unfold. Everything is going to be all negative. I did have that voice, yes. But I did not let it control me. Instead, I felt that I did my best to master it. And then the way that I master it is I try not to plan anything, for the rest of my day, especially when it comes to detail. I did my best to not plan every single detail for today, even though it's a beautiful day, the weather is nice, it's Saturday today. I could have so many options to be very selective about, each detail. What do I want to do today? And I know that to me, sometimes that can be very overwhelming. And I ended up, I could feel very, in, like being in this state of being indecision. Like, I can't make any decisions because there's just so many choices in front of me. So I just told myself, okay, we are going to, negative emotion, you and I, we are going to do small thing to start our day. And what I chose, the first small thing is to sweep the floor in our patio, in our garden. And then I decided, okay, once, the space is much, clean, then negative emotion, you and I were going to watering some plants. And that's the second thing, the next thing that I did. Now, eventually when I was doing that, I could feel all the senses. The wind is like going through my face, my skin, and also the sun is spot on my skin as well. And I just pay attention on my surrounding. I heard that there were birds sound, birds, their sound. And then I was making the coffee. I could smell the sense of coffee. Eventually, I had this agreement with my negative thought. Okay, I told my negative feeling that, all right, now, after we done these little exercise, you and I were gonna have a sit and close our eyes and just to sit with all these feelings that we're feeling together. So my point is that instead of trying to get rid of the negative feelings or dismiss them, I decided that I wanted to invite them by holding a space for these emotions and hold their hands and then sit together with them. So that led me to have about 30 minutes of meditation. And during the meditation, I check in with each part of me. There is body, there is also intellect, there is also our emotional self. And so I just took a few minutes to check with all these departments. And also I asked each department, after I check in with them, I asked them, what do you need from me? And some departments just told me that I need you to be very gentle with me, and I need your care, your protection. I need you to slow down so I can feel less nervous or less stress. And the next thing that I said to all these departments is, I hear you, and I will give you what you need and what you want. So instead of like fighting, no, you're wrong, or no, we gotta do this, right? I came to become agreeable with each departments. And then in the end, I will ask my spiritual self or universe, or some people, they call it higher power, what is the message that you're trying to tell me today? And it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be a full, complete sentence or positive message. Sometimes it can be, what I notice is that, there's only one word, breathe, right? Sometimes what comes to me is one word, and then that is an object. Perhaps it would be water. So it can be anything. And then after that, I will say thank you to each department. Okay, so I would say thank you body, thank you intellect, thank you emotional self, thank you spiritual self. And then once I finish this process, I will start to write down how do I feel with each department. So I will write body and then the feeling. And then there are so many words to describe the feeling. You know, of course, there is a positive. There are also negative, words to describe feeling. So I will practice write down, feeling instead of using the whole sentence and then to say this is what it looks like or feels like. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we can also do that if you're not sure what will be the word to describe the feeling accurately. You can also do that. But I would just jot down a few words. And then also I would jot down other few adjective words to describe what does each department they need to feel from me. So that will be also another exercise. So I will write down that, okay, my body tells me that it needs to be very gentle and slow with the movement, and I will give them to it. So, by writing down, my muscles started to memorizing, okay, these are the feelings and these are the agreements that I have with each department. And after that, I felt in the end of this process, I felt a sense of lightness and relief as well. Of course, during this process, patience, time, and gentleness and kindness is very crucial. So I will always remember to remind myself, it is okay to feel however I want to feel, however, whatever the emotion comes to me. But the most important thing is to be agreeable with all these emotions and invite them to sit with me. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so writing down, meditate, and then do like small exercise here and there. Those are the 3 tips that I want to share with you today. Now, I also made a phone call with a good friend. And I think phone calls sometimes can be a little bit tricky because if I am not, paying enough attention, if I'm not aware, sometimes I make a phone call with a friend who doesn't have any awareness and who's very, negative and who likes to, complain, so that can end up, feeling worse. So when it comes to make phone call, I will let it sit for a while, for another 15 minutes. And then after that, I will ask myself, okay, do I still want to make this phone call? Or actually, I feel much better that I don't need to make a phone call anymore. So that is my thought today. I hope through my sharing, it will give you some insights and the tools of how to master our negative emotion and turn those negative emotion into a bit, positive emotion. And we don't have to actually, set a goal or the outcome by telling ourselves that, okay, by the end of the day or, by 2:00, I have to feel XYZ, in a certain way. No, I don't think that is necessary to give us, those like hard boundary. But I also think that, it's crucial to be aware how we transcend our negative emotion into different kinds of emotion, whether it's worse or better. Because everything started with awareness. And if we truly desire to have a happier life, or to have life that is full more of happiness and then less negative emotions, then of course awareness is the number one, the most important step to start with. That's all I want to share with you guys. If you find sharing this video is very insightful and helpful to you, feel free to click the like button and also subscribe my channel or even leave a comment so I get to see and hear your thoughts about today's subject. As always, thank you so much for spending your time watching my video. Also, if you want to dive deeper into a personal transformation, feel free also to book a 30 minutes free coaching session with me to find out whether or not working with me is a right fit to you. Thank you again. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing today, always be mindful and aware with your emotion, because we can either let emotion to control us or the opposite, which is we can also choose to master our emotion and then turn those emotions to be more positive life. Thank you so much again, and I wish you all have a fabulous day.